Welcome back to Yoga Awakening. I'm Katie. And welcome to this Breath of Joy Pranayama or breathing exercise class. So if you haven't heard of Breath of Joy before, we're going to break it down today and then move through a few rounds. So this is a pranayama, or again a breathing technique that comes from the Kripalu style of yoga, which is actually where I did my first yoga teacher training. So I think that this breath, and you'll see in a moment when we break it down, we have some big arm movements that go along with a nice big inhale and then a release on the exhale. I think that this pranayama is really great, first of all, just any time in the morning where you're looking to kind of build some energy in the system and even clear out the cobwebs from the night before and leave the mat feeling alert but relaxed. In designing today's practice, I've also had in mind a racing mind or anxiety. So racing thoughts, anxious energy. And I've had that in mind because I think that this pranayama technique can be really useful for meeting some of that intensity and kind of thinking of it like an escape valve. I think often when we're in that experience and we're trying to reconnect, we're trying to recenter ourselves and connect into something deeper and calmer and more grounded, jumping into a really slow and calming and soothing yoga practice can be really difficult. It may not be always the most helpful thing. But I think that instead a really nice approach is to meet that energy, is to maybe sort of counterintuitively make some big movements and take some big breaths, and hopefully that really doesn't leave the mind much choice. Doesn't leave the mind much choice but to have to be in the present moment and to connect back into something simple and essential. And then from there, after our pranayama, we'll move in to just a couple of simple and more still shapes. So let's get started here. Come up to your Tadasana. If you're not there already, I'm just going to move a little bit further away from my wall here. You'll want a nice big space so you can have your wide wingspan here and then also some space behind you. But you don't need any special yoga props or even a yoga mat or even yoga clothes. Nothing is required. We'll come into this wide Tadasana. So that means I just like to widen my feet a little bit wider than hips distance. And you could play with that distance, maybe even a little wider might be nice, just so I have a strong and steady base. And then let's break down the breath and the movement that goes along with it. So in Breath of Joy, we're finding these arm movements out to the side, up overhead, and then down with arms sweeping back. So those are our arm movements, and with that comes a 3-part inhale, and then just a simple big release on the exhale. So that 3-part inhale, what does that mean? That doesn't mean 3 separate inhales, which if you try it out, you could try out the kind of 3 separate inhales, might leave you feeling a little bit panicky. You'll probably kind of run out of breath there at some point. But instead is this slowly building that inhale. So it's kind of like you take a little sip of air in, a little more, and then you allow yourself to fill up to your full inhale capacity. So that's our 3-part inhale. We'll give that a try a bunch of times if it's new to you. And then as we release, arms will sweep back. I'll bend the knees. I'll lower the head. That's where our exhale comes. So here's what all of that put together looks like. So I have 1/3 in, 2/3 in, and then full. So I've got 1/3, 2/3. Full. And then exhale, release. Shoot the arms back. Lower the head there as much or as little as you like. And because we are kind of using some momentum to move our head and torso through space, you can modify that as you need to, listening to the body and to your experience. So maybe you skip that big lower and you stay a little more lifted. Maybe that big lower feels really nice. It kind of gives us this chance, again, that escape valve, right? All right, great. So let's do one practice round and then we'll start to build up a few rounds of our pranayama. So 1/3 inhale. We'll just start with a normal inhale and a normal exhale, and then we'll give it a try. So as you're ready, big breath in. Feel that full capacity of your breath, and then an exhale out. The exhale out will be through the mouth, inhale in through the nose. Let's do one more just like that to practice in through the nose, out through the mouth. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. You might even make a sound as you release. Great, let's give it a try. So a practice run will go a little slower. Inhale in through the nose, 1/3. Arms out in front, shoulder height. 2/3, arms wide. All the way, arms up overhead. Exhale, ha. Inhale, return. Great, so notice how that went. Don't worry if you got confused on any of the arm movements. You can just keep watching me, and we'll slowly start to move into our rounds of breath. And we'll do about 10. You can count for yourself, and I'll do my best to count mine too. All right, so let's do 3 of those rounds together. I'll guide. When you're ready, inhale 1/3, 2/3, 3, exhale. Inhale 1/3, 2/3, all the way. Exhale. One more, inhale 1/3. 2/3, 3, exhale, bend the knees. Great, all right, let's keep it going. See if you can start to lose yourself in the movement. Don't caught up in how perfect it is or it isn't. Great, inhale 1/3, 2/3, full, exhale. One more. Let it go. Great. Come back through to center. Pause in Tadasana. Notice how that first round went. We're going to take just 3 more rounds, so shorter this time. But if that first time was a little confusing or you're still getting into the motion of it, I want to really give you another opportunity to settle right in. Get lost in the movement. Forget about how it looks. Forget about if there are other people in your space. Here we go. 1/3 in. 2. Full. Exhale. Let it go. Exhale, let it go. One more. Great. Pause there in Tadasana. close your eyes if you're comfortable, or keep a soft gaze out in front of you. Notice how you feel. If you did arrive in this practice with a racing mind, with anxious thoughts or energy, just check in. Notice how you feel. Has that experience shifted at all? Has it not? Maybe in that movement and that coordination and that exhale out, you forgot all about it. And you just felt what it was like to be in your body. Maybe to be trying something new or returning back to this movement, if this pranayama is familiar to you. Feel the energy start to settle and start to downshift. Open your eyes if they were closed and make your way to a seat. Any seat you like, in a chair, in Sukhasana, hips to heels. Let's take an easy twist over to the right. Left hand to right thigh, right hand behind. I often find that my immediate experience of that pranayama, of our breath of joy, is actually maybe something like joy. A little sense of happiness or silliness in that big movement where we just allow the momentum to carry us. Inhale. Exhale back through center, take it over to the left. Inhale back through to center. And we only have one more shape here, and I want this shape to be something you choose. So you might even close your eyes for just a moment and ask, is there a favorite shape? Is there a shape that's calling out to me right now in this moment? Close your eyes and ask, what is a shape for me that feels safe, that feels calm, that feels grounding? And I'll offer you an option, of course, if you're unsure of where to go here. This is what I'll choose today, and I offer it to you. And that's a simple Sukhasana. I'll bring one heel in front of the other. I have my right heel in front of the left. And then I'm taking that into a simple forward fold. So that might just be resting the hands on the mat. Maybe the forearms or the head. Maybe you can find a little something around the house to rest the head on, if that would feel nice. So I offer this option up to you, or I invite you to choose something entirely different. Maybe that's a child's pose, or Shavasana, or happy baby. Anything at all that you like. Whatever you've chosen, feel yourself land here into this present moment. See if you can embrace it for exactly what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. You're in your Sukhasana forward fold. We'll lift up just enough to take that to our second side. So switch up which heel was in front of the other, or which foot was on top of the other. Nice little release for the hips. Calming for the nervous system in our forward fold. Let's all come to meet in a final seat. You know, of course, that you can come back to this breath of joy anytime that you need. Maybe pausing the video next time and taking a few extra rounds, seeing what your rhythm is. Letting yourself get lost in the movement. Hands to heart center. Press the left hand into the right and the right into the left. Whatever you're experiencing in this moment, find a moment here of coming back to center. That pressure of right hand into left and left hand into right, grounding you into your present awareness. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.